Okay, so today registering multiple events, all that good stuff. We have this event here, intersection event. So right now, up at the top here, we subscribe to two separate things. I would love to subscribe to like one time, maybe some kind of like subscribe many. Let's go into our event system and take a look at what we need to do for that. So we have the subscribers, which is a hash map of string, and then the senders. Which I think should be fine because we can clone the senders. We just can't clone the receivers. So I think that should actually be fine. So what if we can subscribe many? So not just subscribe, but subscribe many. And the event names is going to be a vec of string. We're going to return a single receiver. So I guess the first thing we create the channel. Okay. Now's the, well, okay, and we know we're going to return the receiver. So like that's our like big known here. Now the other thing that we need to do is for each of these event names, okay? So for each event name, for event name in event names, okay, that gives us a string here. We then want to do the same thing that we're doing here and push a clone of the sender. Yeah, we're going to do the same thing that we do right here. So let subscriber list equals subscribers. We're going to do the entire entry thing. The event name or default. And then we'll just do the subscriber list and we'll push in a clone of sender. Now, does sender implement copy? It does not. So can I clone it? I can. Okay, perfect. So subscribe many. We can now replace this with a single call. So this will be let like events. So we have our event manager. We want to subscribe many. We're going to have a vec of, so this is going to be key pressed. And intersection event. And that gives us that receiver. And so then down here, instead of both these receivers, we're just going to have events is a receiver event. Then down here in update, we can replace both of these with a match statement. So if let okay, we have the event self dot events dot try rec v. That gives us the event. We could then match on this event. Okay, so if the key is pressed, we get the key code out of here. So if key code, this is where we could do the if let key code space equals key code, then self dot remove floor. However, if we have this intersection event, we have the collider handler. So the collider handle. So I'm not sure what we want to do with yet. And oh yeah, so we have handle 1. So collider handle 1. Collider handle 2. And maybe we just want to debug intersection. Okay, no errors, just some warnings. So if we run this, it should be exactly the same thing. Nobody's fast. Oh no, there's that one tried. And we got the intersection. We got both of them because 2 balls fell through right away, and then they continue to fall in. Okay, so that's pretty awesome. So given that, now I can refactor a little bit up here. We don't need to save U at all. I do kind of, so both of these are pretty much exactly the same that we have here. The only difference really is, like, we need to create this. The only difference is we need to go through, like, loop through the names. And creating the channels is probably fine. We need to do that anyways. I wonder if I want to, like, just have a private function. Insert subscriber. So the subscriber is going to be a receiver or event, and we're not going to return anything. And then this entire thing essentially happens down here. So we let subscriber list equals self-subscribers entry. Oh, we need the event name, which is that string or default. And then we subscriber list dot push. And this could be the sender. You need to be a sender, not a receiver. Which means this doesn't need to be cloned anymore here. And we can now call insert subscriber from both of these and replace these. So self.insert subscriber, we have the sender, and then the event name. Here's the same thing. Insert subscriber, sender, we clone this, and then event name gets passed into. Okay, perfect. This is duplicated a little bit to create the channels. I don't know if I can get around that because like, even if I like create another function to do that, I still have to like call it exactly the same. So I don't know if there's, it's not a big enough difference for me. Okay, so we're not calling subscribe, and I think that's fine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have an allow dead code for this one, and for you. Right, okay, so now what are we gonna do? If we have this intersection event, we have these two collider handles. We need to figure out which ball it was. And I bet we can write a function to get the actual like ID out of the collider. I wonder if I can do that. So if we have this handle, let's head on over to physics. Let's create a function for this. So this is get ID by collider handle. We're going to return a U128. Okay. So I think we can do this with self.colliders. Okay, what about you? Get. Pass it in a handle. Get the collider with the given handle. Okay, so hand it the collider handle. It's an option collider. Okay. So we should return an option here. Okay, so we get our collider. And I think we can get the user ID from it. User data, there we go. Okay, so we can just return this as a sum like that. And that okay, so now we can get the collider by ID. What are you upset about? Oh, I forgot about using, oh, that would be so awesome. Hold on, let's try this again. So self dot colliders dot get, we pass it in collider handle, and then we question mark you because we're returning an option. Question mark works not just with results, but also options. So that's pretty awesome. Which means that if we want to get this, we can further make this a single liner by taking this question mark and then dot user data like that. And then passing in a sum around all of this. Nice. Museum, hello. It's been a while. How are you doing? The map will keep the option chain going. Oh, really? So, and then, oh, map through the options, and then we get the thing, and then return. Oh, okay. So I don't need to use this sum. Oh, okay. Let's try it. I don't think I've had to use a map on options before. So we can map this. So it maps an option to an, okay, so it just basically converts one option type to another. Sounds perfect. Okay, so then we have our function. So what are we gonna get? This is the collider. Yeah, it's the collider, and we're gonna return the collider dot user data. That. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Museum. All right, so then we can come back to our main library, and we're gonna grab the user ID out of like the first one here. So let ID equals self dot physics dot get ID by collider handle, and we're going to pass in collider handle 1. In this case, okay, so we do have to make sure that this exists. It should exist. Like, I can't imagine this doesn't exist. So I'm going to unwrap here because I want it to crash if it passes me a collider handle and it's not in here anymore. That could be a bad thing. You could also use into to get a sum as a postfix change. So foo.get key. Okay, so question mark data into will turn t into option. Oh, into will turn anything into, because it knows how to wrap it with a sum. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's cool. I'll try to remember that too. I don't know which one's cleaner. The map does feel a little bit cleaner. Sometimes I do find it's easy to miss the question mark. I wonder if somebody is going to create like a color scheme where the question mark is maybe a little bit different color. Yeah, mapping the collider into U128, definitely. Okay, so if we have this ID, now I want to get the name of this ID out. So right now, when we insert choices, when we create these choice balls, we insert a color type and we insert a type, but we don't insert like the name of the choice. So in our draw data, let's create like a names. And so we're gonna have a U128 as our key, and we can just have a string in here. It doesn't really matter. You know, there's no reason that I can't derive default on this. Sure, debug 2, why not? Let's just do default. And then I should be able to just do new. That'll probably make it a little bit easier. Okay, so if I want to insert name, this is going to be a string. Okay, nice and simple for our insert, just like everything else, but then we want the get. Now, I think in this case, we should return an option because it's a possibility that we're getting the actual, like, the sensor itself and not the name. So we don't know which one is which. So we'll try one and then we'll try the other. And whichever one has a name, that's the one that wins, really. So this is going to be an option with a string in here. And I think what it's going to be is a stir. So we can do self.names. We can get with a reference to the ID, and that's it. We're just going to return what it returns, which is this option stir. Is that right? No, it wants, oh, it wants me to actually state this is a reference to a string. Okay, fine. So then we can now get name down here. Let's actually insert while we're here. Self.data, we're going to insert name, pass in the ID. Now the name. In choices, do we have? We do have name in here. Okay, so we have name. Which means yeah, okay, but you need to be public. Okay, so choice.name, you're a string, so that should be fine. So we insert you in there, and then down in our update, we grab the ID out, and then we want to grab this name in. So if let some name equals, so this is gonna be self.draw data dot get name, pass in an ID. Okay, so if we have that, then we should, we're just gonna debug this name out. So debug name, else this should definitely be the other one. Like one of them, like we only have choice balls and the other one's intersecting, so we shouldn't ever have any problems. There's some semantic highlighting for control flow and REST analyzer. It'll color question mark, but also if break return. Yeah, I was thinking like it would be really cool if it could color it separately, but I think VS Code and a lot of the editors just have sort of like an idea of like what certain general class of things are and just give you classes essentially for coloring them. It would be nice if they allowed custom names like that, but I haven't looked into like how to create one yet. Okay, so then in this case, we should be able to get the name out and just debug self dot draw data dot get name. Oh, no. It's the other ID then. So if it's the other ID, then essentially we want to do this again. But now for collider handle 2, we unwrap you, and then in this case, we're going to debug other collider. Sure, I'll just do 2 debugs. And then this is self dot draw data dot get name with the ID. And you should never crash, because if it's not this one, it has to be this one. Sure, well, I guess we'll clone you. All right, let's try this. So the first one that falls, we should see the choice name that it is. Almost. Second choice. Well, okay, that was maybe, oh, right. This was pretty terrible because, oh, I forgot about this. In our choices, .json, I have repeating names here for these. Just not the best. Utsby, hello. Used to work with people who would intentionally have 3-minute build test cycle like that. Intentionally? Oh, was it to like take breaks? Oh, hey, I'm really sorry I'm not working building. Yeah, gotta go do something else while it's building. And then a 3-minute build cycle, but you at least take a 10-minute break, I would assume. Gotta be smart like that. Okay, so if I wanted to actually replace these with real choices now, I'm thinking we need a script that will like generate this with like whatever we want. Let's see. I wonder if I want to do like a separate, I was thinking initially like I can have a like almost a series of like separate programs. I'm working on these doors. Why are the doors at the end of the level then? Because I know, because I could totally just turn off the nails, which makes it a lot faster. I could also drop a ball straight in the middle, which will go straight down. That could work too. But testing purposes, yeah. Okay, so if I want to actually, well, what's the next thing that I want all of these names to have like different choices. So let's maybe, do a race. We have two choices. We have first choice and second choice. One of them is, it has like a custom color to it. This is fine. Make a Google sheet and then import it. Yes, eventually I do definitely want to do that. I need to have a way to import that. So basically what I need is a program that will take in a list of names and then generate this. Oh, and then potentially I could have, maybe I can make it be like a CSV. Can Serde get from CSV? There's Serde JSON. Yes, the excellent CSV crate has Serde support. Oh, okay. So is it just CSV? Fast CSV parsing with support for Serde. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Okay. So if I, hold on, let me, let's open up Google Drive here. Here's my, let's open up you. Don't know if I, gaming. Oh wow, lots of stuff in here that I don't care about. How did it end up creating all these? Clear it. Okay, just delete this. Okay, create that sheet, delete this sheet. All right. So here's a nice empty sheet. So let's say I want to like create a list of games we might, I might want to play. So we have our, like normally we'd have like a title of these. So we have like the name of the game. And then let's say I want to also like set what the color is going to be inside of here. So we can have color. And then outside of that, I don't know if I care anything about the choices. Probably just like the name of the game. So what are some games we can play? Well, I've been playing Tyranny. I've just been playing that off stream instead of on stream. It's too much reading for that. Maybe the next game after I finish that one, maybe there'll be one that's like less reading heavy. So Tyranny is like sort of like a reddish color. How would I want to do this? Would I want to like actually just have like red, green, blue? So this would be like 255 0 0. What are other games? My wife's been playing Celeste. That sort of like feels more of a bluish game. You hate that comma separated values for CSV are usually separated by semicolon rather than commas. But you know why, right? Because people like oftentimes with CSV, if it's like a form value, people use commas in their forms. So now it's like, well, what do I parse? I've sometimes done pipes, CSV with pipes, that's fun. So 0, let's do 255 with blue. Some city in some place. Yeah, exactly museum. Let's do one more maybe. what's another game? Oh, like that reminds me of SimCity. We'll do SimCity. SimCity, that could be green. 0, 255, 0. Okay. Obviously, we can have like different sets of these two, which could be cool. Commas seem to be common in loosely structured data. It's the idea of if you're allowing users to import your data, then you kind of get what you're asking for. Just no idea what it is. Like you have to just assume that people are just keyboard catting their way around, and people are used to commas being like okay. Rarely do people use semicolons, and like I don't think most normal users have ever even looked over to where like pipe is. So that's I think where we can get around it. Many countries use decimal commas in number formats. I have seen that. Decimals and underscores. I've seen both of those. Okay, so if I take this, if I just copy you, do you come in as comma separated values? So if I come into choices, let's save this. So we have these choices.json. If I want to do a new file, choices.csv. Hold on. New file here. Choices.csv. And no, okay, so you don't paste in the CSV. Are those tabs? So this becomes a tab. The easy answer is to read it as character separated values. That's actually really good. I like that. However, I think we should switch to ESV, emote separated values. What can possibly go wrong with that? Burnt Sushi has done a lot of work on making the CSV create correct. Oh, awesome. Okay. So if I want to copy this, can I copy? Oh, I don't think I can. So do I have to export? I can download as a CSV. Well, that's not helpful. Stop. No, I don't want to sign in. Stop. Thank you. No, stop. Please. Thank you. Okay. I guess. So how would I want to do this? I guess I could normally download the file. So I think I downloaded the file. Let me double check over here in my downloads. I do have this. So if I got rid of you, don't save. Get rid of you. Let's move you. Rename you to games.csv. Put you in here. Okay, so here's our list. It's actually comma separated too. So that's nice, I suppose. I want a way to tell this application when I run it to start using this games.csv instead of choices.json. So this will be interesting too. Maybe I should just have it do CSV instead of JSON. That might make things a little bit easier for us. I don't know if it matters that much. Because we have the choice. Okay, so choice, we have this color coming in like this with the name. This should be fine, except I don't know if I can serialize this. Okay, so load choices from JSON is going to do this from JSON. If I want to do pub function load choices from CSV, then we're going to get the CSV file. So this is going to be right. Okay, so basically this is a path. No, it's a struct. Choice path, config. What did I do with this? Oh, because I have the choice path in here. Oh, interesting. Okay. I think I want to change this around a little bit. I don't think I want like a choices path in here. I think I like the idea of, okay, so in our config.json, we don't need this choices path. What I want to do is in main, load config can be fine. This can just load the config from here, but I'm also going to want to like call this and pass in like dash something like to grab the choices essentially. And that way allows me to customize what the name is going to be. What's the best way for me to grab that out? Even if it's just a single argument to this command line app, should I be using, let's see, could be a bit gross and store the CSV in a string in the JSON. That would be pretty gross. That would be pretty gross. What I want to do here is make it so that I don't have to name it a specific thing. And then potentially I can have like a lot of things in here. Like maybe we can have like, maybe I can just have like a bunch of stuff that I choose from over and over again, or I can like auto generate it into like a different name. And then I hit go. That way I can choose every time I do this. What's there's a super popular crate for getting arguments. And I forget what it is. CLI stuff? Clap, that's what it is. Struct up, Oscar Ellen. Oh right, struct up clap. Struct up. Heck, I recently I hosted a meetup where somebody talked about the CLI apps and they talked about struct up and clap. So okay, let's try this. Parse command line arguments by defining the struct. It combines clap with custom derive. Okay. Very nice. Oh, and it gives a nice help message too. That's great. Now in the end, we can get the option that we chose. Oh, okay. So I probably want clap, and struct up works with clap. Okay. Come on, examples. Okay, this could be nice because I only have one argument in here for right now, and even if I only add like one or two. Beware, clap has 1 million. I can see that. Look how far down I had to come just to get to the simple example. Okay, I think this will work for us. So we need clap. Oh, pico args. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, I just want something very, very simple. Oh, there's no examples. Do you have examples in here? Or just use standard env args directly. I could, yeah. Basically make an argument struct. Okay, so we make an argument struct. Huh, they have an argument struct. I like the arguments can be in any order. Click the impl block. Docs are at, oh, okay. Let's go back to arguments. Wait, no, in here. Arguments. Impl, there it goes. There we go, okay. From vector creates a parser from a vector of arguments. Okay, and vec and o a string. Oh, examples are often in source repository. So let args equals pico args arguments if arg contains help. Oh, it's arguments from env. Creates a parser from this. Yeah, we can go take a look at, let's see, the repository too. But usually it's the same here, right? Unless they have like a website, which doesn't look like they have. They might have some examples though. Yes. So you create your own help. Okay, that's fine. Here's the app args that you create. So here's the struct. Let args equals match parse args, which is a function we create. Pass it in app oh no, we're passing back out an instance of app args, then pico args error. Okay. So pico args arguments from env pargs. Oh, okay. So contains, if it contains, one of these things. Then we can do value from stir and then pass it in this, and it will return what that is. Okay, that's what we want to do then. So actually, we don't even need to do an entire struct op like thing. It could just be grab this. Value from, okay, so let's try it. So this is what is it called? It's pico dash args. And then, oh, you're upset because the file that I want. That's okay right now. Oh, right, because you're not in the config. We'll have to deal with you in a bit. Let me actually maybe undo config JSON. Let's bring you back just so we don't get any errors. Oh, here's my other one. We have config.json and config struct. There. That'll make it all happy again. Maybe? Possibly? 5 errors now. Oh, yeah. Load traces. Oh, load traces from JSON. Pass in reference to the config. Okay, that's what I wanted. It should still be choices. That's right. There we go. No more errors. Okay, so now that we have that inside of our main function, we should be able to just do some of this here. Okay, so we need to pico args arguments from env. This is what we need to do. So if we just do like let arguments equals that gives us u. Now if I debug arguments, I wonder if it implements debug. It does. So if I don't pass anything in, it should, yeah, okay, it's an empty array. And if I do, I think we have to do like a dash dash, and we can just do something like config dot wouldn't be config. Oh, I wonder if I do like dash dash config, and I want you to be config.json. Yeah, okay, so it's this dash dash config.json. Oh, we have to be like an equals, don't you? So that's what's included here. You don't need the equals. Okay. I don't need the equals. The methods and arguments does the parsing. Okay, so then if in here I want to let's debug arguments dot value from stir. So value from stir keys okay, it's just a stir. So in this case, dash dash config. Cannot infer type for parameter t declared on associated function value from stir. Oh, do I need to tell you what you are? Like string? The associate function takes 2 type arguments, but only 1 type argument was supplied. string. Hold on, let me try this outside of here. So let config file config path equals arguments value from stir, and this would be dash dash config. Okay, that's a result. So then I can question mark u. Okay, it's a result of unknown error. So question mark u, and then I have to tell you that you're a string. And static string. So that config pack type string from stir. Oh, I have to give it here. String like that. Cannot borrow arguments is mutable. Okay. Moving forward, we're gonna config path debug you out here. Excellent. Okay, so that's perfect. Then we're gonna run this again. So we have config. If I just do a space here, config path is config.json. Okay, perfect. So, if I want to load up that config through this config in my main library, I actually don't know if it's a main library. Right, okay, so it's this config file path where we're grabbing this from. So if I remove you, oh, maybe this should be like config, this should be like default config file path. Then you're a result, right? String error. Because if like you don't exist, like if I do this, that should error out on me because it doesn't exist. Also default. Error, the blah, blah, blah option must be set. Okay, perfect. Now, what if I want... Is there a way for me to make it optional? Opt value from... Oh, okay, so I can do an opt value. Opt value from stir. That's going to be an option now, right? Oh, it's still a result option. Oh, interesting. Okay, so if I do this, it's a result option. So then I want to do that config path equals if let sum. This is going to be a config path, which is a string, equals this entire thing. So if you exist, it's going to be the config path. Otherwise, we're going to return the default config file path, and then you're going to be the config path. Config path. Oh, you're a stir like that. Oh, okay. config. Or you can just arguments that opt value from stir. Oh, config or default. That's actually a really good point. I keep on forgetting about the or default. Let's try that. So if I do config path equals, we still have to do. So hold on. Let's try this again. Arguments dot opt value from stir. So this is config. Now you return a result. So question mark the result, and then or. Is it or else? It's unwrap or? Oh, unwrap or. Okay. Unwrap or, and then the default is going to be this default config file path. That. And you need to be. Can I make this a string? Oh, I can just do to owned. That gives us a string like this, and then you're going to be this config path, which you expect a stir. I guess in this case, we should just change load config to expect a string. Like that. Use of move value. Oh, right, because I've debugged it here. So no errors. Unwrap or takes a value, unwrap or else takes a function that produces a value. It's the late. Oh, okay. Got it. One is at compile time and one is at runtime. What are you upset about? Use of unwrap or followed by a function call. What does it want me to try? Or else is probably better since you're cloning. Oh, unwrap or always. Okay, so. Or else only evaluates when it takes that branch. So do I want unwrap or else then? What does it want me to do? It try this and then doesn't tell me. Quick fix. I mean, we could say that. What was the other one? That way you don't allocate the string every time, only in the oh, okay. Yeah, I see that. That's a good point. So we're gonna grab you or use this. Perfect. So then if I run this again, everything should work. Like if I pass in this config.json, it should work because we actually have a config.json and everything is good. If I don't use this config.json, it should still work because there's a default config.json. Perfect. All right, so that's this config path that we want here. The other thing is going to be our choices. Where do we load those up? Is that in setup? Okay, right here, choices. So we have this load choices from JSON right here, and we're just grabbing the value from config. I, 'cause I don't want the well, load choices from JSON is fine, but I should, instead of handing like a reference to the config for it to grab the value out of there, we should do the same thing and pass in the choices path, which would be, I guess it would have to be a string. So then it's going to come here. So choices path. It's going to be a path, which is a string. Okay, so a path there, and then I guess it just goes fine from there, and then we return the choices. And then here from, okay, so CSV is also going to tell us which way we want to do. Okay, so if we do this path now, this direction, we're going to do the same thing now. Choices dot, not choices dot JSON. Expected struct string found reference choices path is, oh wait, save. Okay, so then in main, now we're missing this, like the actual choices path. So let's also have const default choices path stir equals, it's gonna be choices dot JSON we need to do exactly the same thing here. So we have this config path, so that choices path equals arguments no opt value from stir choices unwrap or else, and then we're going to return this default choices path dot toOn. Oh, and gotta do that. That gives us a string, and then we pass that string in here. So choices path goes down here. So we don't have any errors now. And I think we can have our config.json. We can remove choices path from this, and we can remove it from config struct. And everything still works. So perfect. Now, if I want to have the different type of file for this, JSON or CSV, that's going to be a little bit more interesting. So we have this, we have choices.json, and we now also have this games.csv. So I probably also want a type. So if I want like let choice file type equals, and we could also have a default here. It defaults to maybe JSON. Default trace file type JSON. Now, it would be interesting if I could do a enum on this. Then I could have like two arms of the enum. Is there examples of this like parsing into an enum? I don't think so. There's no enum in here. Maybe the other example. No, there's no enum in here. I mean, probably not. If it's super simple, I can still get the string and then just check it and then turn it into the enum, or we could just say, hey, it's a string. Just check to see what it is. But so if we do the same thing here, so trace file type is arguments opt value from stir. You're gonna be file type unwrap or else. And this is going to be the default trace file type to owns. Oh, and I can't forget your question mark. So that gives us this choice file type. So we could pass this in to the load. See, so once we have this, we have the choices path, and we can also pass this in with the choice file type. It's in here. We're also a string. We then load choices from, okay, so here's where we have to make the decision. Load choices from JSON. So if choice file type equals JSON, then load choices from JSON. I could also use strum to create the enum with like the different types here. That could be interesting. I could also do like two lowercase. Okay, so that way if I like accidentally have like all capitals, it doesn't matter. It just still works. Okay, so if you're the same as JSON, then load choices from JSON. Else, oh, but we can't do choice this. We're gonna have to do choices equals you, and we're gonna return this. Else if choice file type, lowercase, your CSV. We're gonna do load choices from CSV. Choices path. We can question mark you, and then if we don't find any, we're going to bail with choices must be JSON or CSV. I don't know if I would like that necessarily, but it gives us the choices now. And then you need a path. Just going to be the string. And then you'll load that up and do the thing. Okay. We do have an error because you don't return an actual result. We'd kind of want you to return a result of like a vec choice. So here, we'll just return an empty vector for right now to make you happy. Wait, can I do the into also like trick here? No, I can't. That's only for options, isn't it? Not some. Okay. What am I thinking? All right, so let's see. We have a bunch of warnings. We're not using you here anymore. Pico, isn't okay. Sure. I care about that word. Doesn't know if you want okay or error. Well, it could assume okay, but what you're doing is return some error into, yeah. Okay, so then if I run this exactly as is with nothing, it should just work still. Now, if I tell it to return like a choice type file type of CSV, I think it will have no choices because that file isn't actually returning. It's an empty vector. So this is working. We just need to like now make it parse through those other choices. Unfortunately, I do need to do that tomorrow because it is after 8:20 and I need to unfortunately go to work. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the YouTube video here. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.